Why do people fall for narcissists? I think the answer to that, from my own personal experience, is that the narcissists often present themselves as authority type figures. They present themselves oftentimes as more than they are. So some of them are in super high positions, but some of them are not. I think just being online in general, like if you're meeting someone on an online dating site, that kind of lends itself to over embellishment and over exaggeration anyway, because people obviously want to put their best foot forward. But once you have an understanding of the type of people that actually use these platforms and the fact that the majority of them are actually psychopaths, then you tend to see things a little differently after that once you're privy to that kind of information. So, from these two that I was dealing with more recently, I noticed like they would present themselves as being a lot more than they were. They both were doing just fine and totally comfortable, but they would act like complete big shots, like they were so much more than they actually were. Like one of them would go up on like a press conference platform and like take a picture as if he was some big shot that worked up there, when in reality, he may have been he does work in the field, but he's not exactly, you know what I'm saying? Like he's more of just a bottom feeder type of, not to be rude or anything, but it's just that, like, why are you acting like you're some head honcho big shot in this thing when you are not? You know what I'm saying? So, like, he would, like, go and sneak pictures in places that he wasn't supposed to be in. Type of stuff like that only more authoritative people should be there, and he would go and take pictures and act like he's up there with them, type of thing. They just try to overinflate who they are. They're masters of deception. They love illusion. That's why they love social media, because they can present some perfectly coiffed image of themselves to draw people in. And so that's why, I don't know why, I do know why they post up the new supply and stuff, obviously to sting you, but I mentioned this in an earlier video, that that they kind of shoot themselves in the foot, because they can't, when they're in the midst of that, they also can't really draw in anyone else, because if it looks like you have a serious new girlfriend in this new supply, then you're also not going to get any attention from anyone else, because you can't, if you meet them and then they start going researching and looking you up and they're like, who's this girl? You know what I'm saying? Like it becomes a bit messy. Which, they're messy anyway, but as we know, they have no loyalty to anyone or anything. But, so the main thing, I think what draws people in to narcissists is obviously the illusion that they create. And they often present themselves as complete big shots, pillars of the community, the most charitable people on earth. Oh yeah, and they're deeply pious. They go to church every week, and they're volunteering at the homeless shelter. They are just the most amazing species there is. I mean, they're just so kind and caring, you know. But anyway, yeah, so that's what draws people in. It's this kind of allure, and they're obviously they're very charming at first, and they present themselves as pretty likable people, but it's more so that they're just mirroring you. So you're like, wow, this person's so awesome. They're just like me. Ain't that something? But we all know, what happens after that. So, yeah, they often present themselves as authority type figures. Oh, I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of my game. I'm at the top of my industry. I'm this and that. Um, Whereas some of them might be, but for the ones that I knew, they really weren't. I mean, like I said, they were doing fine and they were comfortable, but they weren't any kind of um, super affluent. I mean, they were like middle class, middle class. So, but they would present themselves as, you know, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Just some kind of, aristocrat or something way more than anything that they actually are. And as we know, they actually belong in a sewer. They dwell in the sewer. So, I mean, the irony is just off the charts. But anyway, uh, yeah, they present themselves as big shots and authority figures and Mr. Popular or Mrs. Popular. Oh, I want to get to know them. Oh, they got everything going for them. When in reality, they're psychopathic lunatics from the 10th dimensions of hell. And you should run as far away from them as possible.